Sorry for the goofy face. I don't know how to monkey with this while I'm waiting for people to show up. Oh, looks like I got one person there. We'll share it later. Try to get out of that big old sunspot too. Alright, I think that might work. Alright, well, hello cruel world, Facebook world, whatever world, insert adjective here. So, yeah, I've been kind of in the shadows for about a week. You know, adding some replies or some comments, answering a few questions. But all in all, I've taken some time for myself, work, my wife, my dogs. I'm not necessarily in that order because my wife is the most important in that list. My kids as well. They're a very, very close second there. Almost tied, but, you know, hey, they're all adults and whatnot, but they still need some guidance and some reassurance from their parents. What they don't need me to do is tell them how to live or what to do. And that's kind of what our governor's doing. I don't want to make this so much about Whitmer. I do want to address some of the craziness that I see going on. You know, so many people are stuck on this COVID-19 being so deadly, and it's not near as deadly as they anticipated or thought it would be. We have a governor who keeps quoting data, but she has yet to release any signs or references to exact data. Right now, the way I view it and the way I define it is her data is just a word that she's using to blanket cover her ridiculous reaction to this entire problem, this global pandemic. And I don't know if anyone else is as irritated as I am when I hear her say those words, or hear her kind of dance around most of the questions that she's being asked, because she's not answering them. She's not answering them with any degree of certainty. So, I get we have two very different sides of this story and perspective and opinions, and it will never change. There will always be those who believe the government is their mommy and needs to hold their hand and make decisions for them. Those are what I call weak people. Now, those of you who feel safe staying at home, I'm not calling you weak, but for those of you who believe that the government's job is to tell you how to live your life step by step, breath by breath, moment by moment, you are weak. And if that hurts, I'm sorry, it's not malicious, it's the truth. Okay, I don't know how you can live on your own, how you moved out of your parents' basement, home, neighborhood, or whatever to survive on your own when you need a government to tell you how to live. So, that should concern you. So thinking back to, I had a comment today from a fella, excuse me, and yes, I'm going to touch my face. There, look. Oh my God, you know what didn't happen? COVID didn't happen. All right, back on track. So this fella, started ranting and raving about how it's everyone's responsibility to stop this virus and to look out for each other. And yeah, I agree to a certain extent that we should be looking out for each other. We absolutely should. It's the humane and moral and ethical thing to do. However, it is not my responsibility to spend every waking moment trying to keep you safe or healthy or anything else. Okay? It is up to you to do what you need to do to keep you safe. It is not up to me to pay your bills. It's up to you to get out and work or find a source of income to pay your own stinking bills. I haven't asked anybody to come pay my water or my electric or my propane bill or my mortgage or my vehicle payments. None of that. I work hard and I take care of my own. Okay? Nobody had to tell me to quit smoking. I smoked for 30-something years. If I would have gotten lung cancer in that, I wouldn't be blaming anybody but myself. Why? Because there's been numerous and plentiful warnings that smoking causes cancer. Whose fault is it? Somebody didn't smack the cigarette out of my hand? No, they probably would have gotten a knockdown. It would have been my fault. Why? Because I made choices to put me in the unhealthy state that would have led me to that outcome or diagnosis. So this fella went on a rant and he's like, oh, well, I'm real high risk and I just had bypass and a stent and high blood pressure and my health is horrible. Well, I went into his Facebook page, and yeah, he lives a crappy-ass lifestyle, and it's his own damn fault. I mean, if you're an alcoholic and you chose to pick up the bottle and get cirrhosis of the liver or kidney failure or whatever comes along with alcoholism, is it someone else's fault or is it yours? I get there's addictions there, but you made the choice to dabble in that arena. So, sorry, Becky, the sun's going to shine through, because even though it's cloudy, when you're Pete Stern and you're surrounded by the awesome friends and backing that I have, the sun is always shining. So, yeah, I missed the spot. We're not going to get rid of it. So, you know, this guy went on further to say that I was a piece of garbage, essentially, because I wasn't going to look out for him. You know, if he's walking across a railroad track and a train's coming, I'll jump and grab him and pull him out of the way of the train. And then when I'm done, I'm going to be like, hey, I'm glad you're not dead, but what were you thinking? Okay, but if I'm not there, it's not my fault if he gets hit by the train. And because I want to get out and live like so many people want to, it's not our responsibility to stay home because you're afraid to go out. Stay home. And I've heard this argument so many times, but I have groceries to get. I have things I need. Well, yeah, and you're still going to go to the same places that we're allowed to go. So if I'm going somewhere else, to an amusement park or a golf course or a boat ramp or a Craig's Cruisers or anything else, the stuff that you need isn't there, so I can't affect you. So get over it. It's not my job. It's not Michaela's job. It's not Tassie's job. It's not Mike's job. It's not Kathy's job. It's not John's job or anyone else's job to look out for you to the degree of anything. It is your responsibility. It's up to the rest of us to do the human thing when we see something going on. Should we be out sneezing and licking things out in public? No. But we shouldn't have been doing that before this COVID-19. And there's been people that have been doing that stuff before all this. I don't hear you complaining and pissing and moaning about them. What about the people opening up ice cream in the grocery store and licking that? I don't think that should go to court. I think somebody should walk along. I would be much happy to do it and punch them square in the face and knock them out and let them feel that pain for a while. We have over-regulated ourselves into submission, and we're letting our government overreach its boundaries to tell us what to do. And it's not the whole government, but man, there's a majority of it taking advantage of this situation. So I'll be getting into the new page, Elect Pete Stern for Governor of Michigan. You guys aren't allowed to post on there, and it's not to be mean. I just really want to keep that professional avenue and be able to have people be able to go on there and find out what I'm about, what this cause is all about, what we are all about, without having to sift through a whole bunch of just a lot of stuff. And everything that you guys are posting here on this page is absolutely necessary. And if at least it's just for you to vent so you're not keeping it inside, then it's doing its job. But I want to keep those two fairly separate so people have a definite means to find out what we're about, because we're going to need to get our names out there. We're going to need to get this cause out there, and we're going to need the support. It's going to be a tough run. I know we can do it. Okay? So with that being said, let's take the high ground. Let's not stoop to the level of the name calling. I am the worst offender. So this is just as much for me as it is for you, and I want to lead by example. It's easy to pull ourselves into the trenches, especially when someone throws the first dart, and it is so hard to get me, myself, unconditioned for that response. But our argument goes so much farther when we're not taking the personal attack approach. So the bottom line is like, you know, the first person that starts name calling has essentially admitted that you won the argument. So if I say, listen, here's the compromise. If you're afraid of this virus, stay home. Let me go out and live. And they're like, well, you're just a big stupid asshole. Well, yeah, thank you for telling me I just won that argument, because if that's your reply, you've run out of things. You've got nothing. It's like kicking dirt, throwing your baseball bat and glove down and walking off the field in defeat. Take it for what it is. Laugh it off. It's hilarious. It's absolutely hilarious. I laugh. I actually laugh out loud, LOL, when someone calls me a name, because it doesn't affect me. A matter of fact, I've come to realize that a certain amount of, hey, Pete, you're an asshole, solidifies the fact that I'm saying the right things. because we've become so PC that people are afraid to speak their minds. And I am not going to candy coat anything because your butthole gets sore over it. At the end of the day, I'm going to tell you what you need to hear. And I'm going to stand up for what I believe in. And as governor of Michigan in 2022, I'm going to stand up for what you believe in. Okay, there's so many topics out there. And even those of you who are telling me and saying to your friends, which I wholeheartedly believe, I will vote for you in a second, we don't always see eye to eye on every single one of the topics. But what can we do? We can come together and find the best compromise to make the majority happy. And you know what? Once that starts working, even the naysayers will be like, wow, you know what? This is working. Okay, what isn't working is the stay-at-home order. It made sense in the beginning. I don't necessarily wholeheartedly agree with that, but in the overall scheme of things, here's an unknown, a huge unknown, starting to rain, that, you know, we are unsure of. So we took drastic measures to save lives. I get it. But at the end of the day, we've gone too far, and we should have pulled the reins a month ago at bare minimum. So, you know, there will be times when there's going to be public speaking going on. I would like to answer live questions. Unfortunately, we're still in that gray area with a tyrannical governor who's saying we can't group in masses. So we have to essentially just kind of wait it out. I got to start moving because I got to be at work in 40 minutes and I got to run this through the car wash, even though it's going to rain. So, you know, agree to disagree, for God's sakes. Enough of the arguing. At some point, I encourage every one of us, and especially the opposition, to stand in front of a wall and try to convince it to change colors just by your voice. And let me know when you get tired of doing that. Okay? Because at the end of the day, Pete Stern for governor of Michigan, and elect Pete Stern for governor of Michigan is, I don't know what's going on with my phone flipping, but at the end of the day, it's about our cause. If you don't like it, unfollow, block us, whatever. Nobody forced you to be a part of this group. Sorry about the shakiness. The road's been graded and it's bumpy, but it's our page. Again, I encourage discussion and debate, but at some point, it's time to just say, you know what? I've said my 2 cents worth, and let it dwell. When you plant a seed in your garden, do you go out every day and start yelling at it because it hasn't popped through the soil yet? Give it a chance to take root, okay? The more you push and the more you force feed and the more you yell and argue and insist on somebody bending to your point of view, the harder it is going to be to get your point across. Just plant it and let it go. Okay, and I encourage the rest of us not to jump on that bandwagon. At some point, just be like, you know what? It doesn't warrant a response. I have probably at least, at bare minimum, 50% of the time started typing a response and deleted it all because it just wasn't worth the ensuing headache because I had already won that argument. So those who like to just piss and moan to hear themselves talk, you know what? If they get in the shower and tuck their junk in front of the mirror and look at themselves all proud like a supermodel or whatever else and pat themselves on the back, so be it. You know what? It doesn't affect me. I could care less. So let's stand for the cause. Let's do this the right way. Let's change history. Let's make our cause known. Let's bring it back to the people. Even the people that disagree with COVID-19, because this isn't just about that. It's about our government working for us. I don't think I can do much on Capitol Hill in the White House right now. I'm a no-name nobody out there for now, so presidential run isn't my thing. I think President Trump is doing a great job laying the groundwork. You may not agree with his techniques and his tactics. I don't either. But I also don't understand what exactly his intent is behind that, and only one person can answer that, and that's him. And when it's time, he'll let us know. So, you know, let's quit just assuming we know where someone else is coming from. If they want to drop their 2 cents worth, fine. But I am going to reiterate this. For those of you so passionate about everybody else's responsibility to stay home and protect you because you're scared, I will start listening to you with a little bit more intensity when you park your car and hand the keys over to somebody so you don't have access to it, because now you won't go out and kill somebody while you're texting and driving, while you're drinking and driving, or while you're just driving and distracted by the radio or just your daily thoughts. Because if you're worried about protecting other people's lives, that's a good start. Park your car. You're worried about protecting other people's lives, lay down the cigarettes and the booze. You don't need it. First of all, alcohol, if you're in a depressed state already, is a huge depressant. And I have seen, even when I went through my first divorce, what it can do to you negatively. What it can do to somebody. I've watched good people fall into deep depression while they're drunk, and it's just temporary, thank God. And I haven't seen the effects of the permanent outcome of drastic measures. But again, if you're worried about protecting all of society and it's everybody's job, park your cars. Dump out your booze. Throw down your cigarettes, because secondhand smoke is just as much, if not worse, of a cause of lung cancer and other diseases that you're putting out there. I guarantee half the people telling me, "Oh, Pete Stern, you're a piece of garbage because you're not looking out for me," are smoking and basically blowing smoke in other people's faces and saying, "I don't give a shit about you. So why should I care about you if that's your recourse?" So, you know, maybe we should give up electricity because, well, house fires, that's the majority of where they start. Or wood burning, because if you don't take care of your chimney, you set your house on fire. Well, you're not looking out for your family, are you? I mean, I'm not saying that I agree with this logic. This is the logic you're presenting to the rest of us, and you expect us to digest it and fall for it, but yet you won't apply it to absolutely everything else that's deadly. All right, imagine if we held you accountable for having house fires. I was a firefighter for almost 30 years, and I have friends that still do it. You know what our risk is for cancer? I don't see you guys doing anything to benefit us. Oh yeah, hey, National EMS and Firefighter Day or whatever. That's great, and I appreciate it as much as the last guy does. But at the end of the day, you don't care. You do reckless things. You do stupid things. You light off fireworks. You forget stuff on the stove, and guess who comes to clean up the mess? Your local fire department. And every time we do that, we're subjecting ourselves to additional forms of cancer. So get off your high horses, get off your higher than thou mentality, and accept the fact that for thousands upon thousands of years, it's been up to us to take care of our own. Okay? At the end of the day, do you see bison charging the tiger or the lion, taking down their weakest? Sometimes you do. More often than that, you see the rest of the herd run away. Sorry, the weakest don't survive. I'm not saying that we should just cast you aside and make you collateral damage, or, hey, sorry you can't run as fast as me, but that's nature, period. Not human nature, that's just nature. That's how it is. So if you can't accept that, pack yourself in bubble wrap and stay home. Order your crap from Amazon. Okay, go start a GoFundMe page. Maybe somebody will donate to you. I've seen people donate to dumber causes. Maybe people will buy your way through life, and you can stay home, sheltered, safe from everything. But at the end of the day, there is a huge laundry list of things that will kill us. Car accidents, trauma, heart attacks, cancer, old age. You know what the biggest killer is in the world? Being born. Because if you're not born, you have no chance of dying. But once you're on this earth, you have 100% chance of dying. When that happens, nobody knows. Can you do things to try to avoid it? I think you can, but I also believe in my heart of hearts that when it's your time to go, it's your time to go. So that's all I got to say about that. Well, I'd like to end this on a more positive note. Be kind to each other. Oh yes, some of my most beloved friends and some of my most beloved family members irritate the shit out of me at times. And I guarantee I irritate the shit out of you and my family at times as well. But at the end of the day, your political differences should not alienate your relationships. So get past that, for God's sakes. Okay? I'm working on it, and if I can do it, anybody can do it. So be kind to each other. It's okay to get heated. I get heated discussions at work on break with a couple of my coworkers. We're very passionate about our sides, but you know what? When it's all said and done, we let the dust settle, and we apologize if it's necessary, and we accept the fact that, hey, it's like sparring in a boxing ring. It's not anger, it's intensity, and it's a good workout. So take it for what it's worth. Be nice to each other. Don't stoop to that petty level. I don't care if you like Nancy Pelosi or hate her, and frankly, I'm the latter of the two. But she is an awful person. Don't be like her. Okay? Also, don't undermine. Don't use a valid topic to sneak in something that you want on your behalf. Let's take it back to the essentials. Let's do what needs to be done, and then fight for the other stuff in a different platform. Be kind to each other, respect each other, and you know what? If you can't come to a conclusion or a reasonable compromise, then agree to disagree and move on. You're killing yourself slowly with stress because, man, your whole focus is to change somebody's mind, then it's not going to change. Because if you can sit there and look yourself in the mirror and say, you know what? That side's not going to change my mind, then here's a news flash. It's the same for them. You're not going to change their mind. So at the end of the day, you just keep preaching for your side of the story. Somebody may be on the fence. They don't know what to think. So we put both sides out there and let them decide. It's not for us to launch it up their butt and make them eat it. So here's the deal. I'm getting on the main road. I'm going to let you go. I love you guys. Be kind to each other. Replay this video a couple times. Let it sink in. Okay? There's a lot of good stuff here for you. And everything I'm telling you is from the heart. No one's telling me to tell you this. I'm telling you this because you need to hear it. So keep fighting the good fight. I appreciate everybody supporting me and being behind me. I'm off to work. I love you guys. Have an awesome day. Hopefully we'll do a live tomorrow from the main page. You guys have a great night.